Good morning, everybody. From the bottom of my heart to all of you. See, Cognite did not exist before. We are a new company. And by you coming out here, you grace us. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And no surprise we have so many people here. 3 times more than last year. Our commitment, our promise to ourselves and to the market was, although we'll focus on industrial, we will go multi-vertical. We'll go through all the industries within the industrial sector. The first speaker with me today who'll join me is Brett Marchand, who's from discrete manufacturing. Yesterday, we had our customer advisory board. We sat down with folks from energy, from chemical, but as well as with Moderna, a pharmaceutical life sciences company. So there are leaders here in the audience today from pharmaceutical life sciences. So we are multi-vertical today. Now, energy is our anchor vertical. We will always be in energy. Any company that breaks its teeth on energy makes its capabilities, people, products, processes, more resilient on performance, on mission criticality, on security. So just a couple weeks ago, we were graced. We were graced by the fact that TotalEnergies announced they're expanding their relationship with us and deploying across all their upstream assets a data foundation that will fuel artificial intelligence. Right after that, we were awarded what I believe is the largest deployment expansion yet again in downstream, refinery in downstream. Now, when my friend Ibrahim Atani allows me to tell the world that Marathon Petroleum is expanding, I'll tell the world that Marathon Petroleum is expanding with Cognite. So we will always be in energy while we will expand cross-vertical. Cross-regional. We have customers, as Mark Jeffries mentioned, from right here in Houston, in Europe, Middle East. It feels Middle East, Abu Dhabi is the center of the world. And all the way to Tokyo, so much fun, so rewarding working with our Japanese customer base. So we are multi-vertical, we are multi-regional. As far as I can see in the world of industrial software, Cognite is the only company founded on the cloud, infused with LLM, utilizing LLM to drive value for you. And we take that responsibility very seriously. So over the next couple days, I'm just a warm-up act. I'm looking forward to the sessions today. The CEO of the first Cognite customer will be coming up to stage in a bit, and he'll share his vision and what they are doing with us. Number of terrific sessions today. I'm really looking forward to the product session tomorrow morning. Oh my God. I have had a bit of a preview. The product team hasn't walked me through everything. I've had a little bit of a peek, but it's revolutionary what they'll share. In every session in a Cognite user conference, we have customers. We are good storytellers, but there are better storytellers in other places. The best way, the most impactful way we tell our stories is with you up on the stage and you sharing your stories. So our commitment to you is resolute. It is eternal. Customers from across industries will be talking about their deployment, successes, deliberations, maybe a couple stumbles working with Cognite along the way as well. Tomorrow evening is a fantastic celebration in the world of industrial software. You see, in the last year, the cliche, the world has changed a lot, is actually truly applicable. Since the pandemic, reindustrialization, reshoring started. When countries were waking up during the pandemic and they were seeing supply chains 8,000 miles away, the realization was that they had overdone it. And they need to bring factories back, start building again. And that trend started. And this year in 2025, it is really having momentum. The investments going around the world on factories and plants, energy. Have you noticed oil and gas is fashionable again? Oil and gas is fashionable again. It is the resolute source of energy. And I'm very happy about that. I drive a lovely Mustang, not the golf cart that my wife drives. That takes real energy. I've had a privilege this year to go around the world meeting with our customers, our team members. Right here in Houston, I was here last week as well, in the Middle East, in Qatar, in Abu Dhabi, in Saudi Arabia, of course, in Norway a number of times, in Japan. And there is a very interesting trend that I'm seeing for the first time in my life. For the first time in my life, not just working life. That this renaissance of industrial AI, this renaissance of industrial AI is a patriotic call. It's a patriotic call. It is twinned with national security. Industrial AI, factories coming back in our neighborhood, twinned with national security, countries embracing sovereignty, wanting to preserve data, very curious about how does the model get trained. That's prevalent in each country, and Cognite was always created as an open system to serve that need. And we continue to structure, architect, energize ourselves to meet that calling. So all of you who are here from different parts of the world, we have empathy, we understand what are the dynamics happening in your country. You want data centers, you want factories, you want data in your premises within the boundaries of your countries, and Cognite is committed to meet, comply, exceed your expectations. There is another trend that is obviously going on across the world, which is AI horizontally from consumers, students, to enterprises. And a few of us got together, it's about 18 months ago in New York City. By serendipity, no coincidence, all of us got into a New York steakhouse. Everybody ordered a tomahawk steak, and we started architecting what AI for industry would look like. We were pioneers. When I checked with François Laborie, Dr. François Laborie, about a week ago, I believe we have 34 customers across verticals, across regions in production, scaling industrial AI, Atlas AI, and we are very privileged for that. Now, there are three areas that I will cover today with you. Before I go there, the reindustrialization, the AI momentum, multi-regional, multi-vertical, we will never be an establishment. We will never be an established company. We will always be wanting more. And to respond to your demands that are enormous in infinity, Cognite had to step up. So our founder, Dr. John Marcus, essentially has vacuumed all the brilliant talent in Norway, and we keep adding to that capability. Incredible talent, fantastic team members. But we had to expand to meet all these needs. We opened up an outpost with our first leader, who's here, Guru, the managing director for India in Bangalore. For an unobvious reason, I love Bangalore, not because I was born many, many years ago in the north of that country, because Bangalore was the only country with the capacity of talent, but also the ecosystem. Also the ecosystem of providers. TotalEnergies is establishing their own outpost there with our team. So now we have 75 plus associates. They're incredibly talented people. As the AI wave, the tsunami was hitting us, we realized that the headquarters of AI in the Western world is San Francisco. San Francisco. Not the Bay Area, San Francisco. So how close could we get to San Francisco in proximity to work with the talent, with universities, but as well as with the startups that are coming up there, our partners? And the team, and not I, but the team decided we will base our headquarters in Phoenix. The Phoenix headquarters are open. It's magnificent. It has a Norwegian and a Texan fingerprint there in the design of our office. Has 360-degree views, a beautiful canal that Senator John McCain had conceived across the road from Arizona State University, not too far away from the University of Arizona. Innovation right there in Arizona. And why Arizona as well? Because in the 10 years that I've been living there, the Sedona, the Grand Canyon, the vacation district now has factories. A very sophisticated, the biggest outpost of Taiwan Semiconductor is up. They're running. Benchmark Electronics is there. Lucid is building cars there. So even in my state, I'm seeing industrialization and AI being applied. We welcome you all to come and visit the Sonoran Desert, the beautiful Sonoran Desert in our headquarters. As we were scaling, we needed to add capabilities. And in the management team, since you were here last year, we have added incredible talent. Chirayu Shah joined us as head of product with 25 years in industrial automation. You see, we are trying to thread in the Cognite quilt deep industrial domain capability and deep modern contemporary tech capability. Chirayu Shah was followed by James Sirota, who came from AWS, Amazon. And there, he led the well architecture that was conceived by Jeff Bezos. As AWS was scaling, they were running into scalability and resiliency issues. And they created the well architecture. So James Sirota is part of the team. Bill Owen, a recovering CIO with great empathy for customers, leads our value delivery, and Sandy Jong, Chief Marketing Officer, who has worked in design and manufacturing at Motorola in software companies, are part of the management team now. Now to unlocking the workforce, unlocking the value chain, unlocking the ecosystem. These are the three themes that I will touch upon today. I'll have customers come in. They've even given me demos to demonstrate. So if I stumble, my co-pilot, a real human being, Halvard Eggen, my good friend who leads product strategy, may lend me a hand, but let's assume I can get through it. About 3.5 years ago, I met John Mortimer, who heads all manufacturing at Celanese. And he says, Girish, tech is fine. I understand some technology. I don't understand all of it. I really understand value. So whatever the company is deciding to do here, I'll support it, but I got to see value. And we have really grown engaging with Celanese. They have stretched our limbs and capabilities. It's been 3+ years. And we realized then, as we know today, that the manufacturing world will always be semi-autonomous. Our Chief Marketing Officer, Sandy Jung, calls it augmenting human beings and enabling the frontline worker, the mobile worker, the hard hat worker, the subject matter expert in the control room is a mission we take very seriously. So my first demonstration and convey here will be about unlocking the workforce. I'll go do a, can we show, before we show the demo, let me tell you what you will be seeing in the demonstration. A factory worker has an alert that there is excess oil dissipation in one of the compressors. The factory worker, the hard hat worker, is armed with Cognite's Data Foundation and Atlas AI. And he is going to diagnose the problem, utilize our knowledge graph that aggregates in the data model, then contextualizes the product specification for the compressor, sensor data, other specifications, documented procedures. So this multimodal data that's available in the factory worker will see contextualized data to diagnose it, understand the causality for excess oil dissipation in the compressor, and then he will put Atlas AI agents to work to remedy the issue not just for today, but also for future. So let's look at the demonstration, please. This is the troubleshooting that the factory worker is doing for the compressor, as you are seeing. It's looking at multiple files, in many ways almost impossible for a human being to do manually. It takes weeks in many stages. So he's got the whole menu of what all the possibilities could be. So Atlas agents are at work now. Start with the causality, cause map. This is the knowledge graph. They're looking at why is the excess oil dissipation happening. It's starting to come to a conclusion that there is low viscosity in the oil. Atlas agents at work tapping into data on the knowledge graph. And the data points around excess oil viscosity starts to come in. What you will see the system do, is not only inform the mobile worker that this is the real cause for the problem that he's seeing this morning. It will make a notification and establish thresholds, benchmarks in Cognite from a preventative standpoint, so that if this state is seen in the future, there would be a proactive response. So there is a notification made in Cognite. It doesn't just stop there. It goes and creates a work order. So ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty marvelous. You have a mobile worker without all those reams of documents data, the knowledge graph that's pulling the data together, Atlas AI agents going to work in real time and making alerts for preventative nature, but also creating a work order in SAP to start the remedy of it. I'm really privileged to invite Brett Marchand from Molex, part of the Coke company, KOCH, Coke company. Brett. So Brett, tell us a little bit about Molex.
Sure. So Molex is a world leader in interconnects and electronics. So we're known for our connectors. That's our bread and butter. We manufacture and design in 40 countries worldwide, and we're part of the Coke family.
Well, that's great. So we are like young kids in Cognite. So you are discrete manufacturing.
Yes.
And I've been told to say multiple times, as we know you, as we know Coke, because Coke Energy is a customer of ours. Mm-hmm. I'm such a show-off. You are a discrete manufacturing AI expert. So tell us the state of affairs, the operations before Cognite.
Yeah, so much like other large companies that have developed and acquired businesses over time, we have a lot of unstructured data. And what I mean by that, that's the type of data where we have documents, technical specs, and the challenge is they're in different formats and they use different terminology. So the issue is that our customers have to physically pull up some of these documents, at least the ones that are customer facing, and in order to really understand our products in depth. So as a result, it's very difficult for them to get at our product data. We've tried using ChatGPT. The data is just too unstructured. All those different formats, the terms, it's too disjointed to return the type of answers that our customers need.
Thank you for that. And now, since you are deploying Cognite, what is the state after Cognite that you're starting to see?
Yeah, sure, Girish. So The benefit we're seeing is Cognite has been able to take our unstructured data and turn it into structured data. So an example is they're building a knowledge AI graph, and that is, in essence, extracting information from our technical documents and putting that in a standard format using industry-based terms. So as a result, our customers have a more intuitive way of delving into our products, understanding them more fully. I liken it to when you go onto Amazon. It's very easy to search and find what you need. You've got all these filters on the left side of the screen. You can filter by size, by color, by rating, right? That's the vision of what we want to make for our customers a reality.
So, we get asked by all of you, value, value, value. Your CFOs like value, this investment. How do you project the experience we've had so far working with you? What's the projection of value to Molex?
Yeah, it's a great question, Girish. So, we didn't know what we didn't know about AI when we started. And now that we have the knowledge graph, the benefit that we're seeing is that new and fresh ideas are coming in about how to leverage that. So for example, I'd love to see us take an AI agent that can become an expert in some of our key product families. Some of these products, they have thousands of configurations. That's very challenging for anyone or any person within our company to have that breadth of knowledge, to be able to answer our customers' questions, whether it's our sales team or our engineers on staff. And so being able to give our customers a natural language model, or being able to ask those questions of the AI and return the type of feedback they need within minutes, is not only faster, but provides a lot of benefit. And further to that, I could see where we would link our new product development data with our manufacturing data. What that could bring as value, I'm not sure. Possibly it could enable us to take our insights from a manufacturing perspective, pull those forward in the product development process, and design better products. So I'd say, in summary, our approach is, if we build it, they will come.
Field of dreams. Brett, I loved what you said, right? Because internally, I like to use a metaphor that our customers are buying real estate. They got to keep harvesting, growing, adding to it, right? One of our customers who'll come up to the stage, I'll let him claim it, but when we showed the Atlas AI troubleshooting demo that I just showed, the root cause analysis, with his data, with his operations team, it gave their operation a 97% pop. Those who are not American, 97% increase in operational efficiency because of everything you just said about surfing through different data points. What you also said is, with you and every customer, we never hear we are done, because you want to keep, again, growing, adding capabilities to it, applications, agents, and others. Brett, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll hang out with you here over the next couple of days.
Great.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Girish.
Thanks. So that was unlocking the workforce. Job one for us, right? Chirayu, Brian, wherever you are, we got to empower the workforce. And my colleague, again, Halvard Eggen, who I call him the linebacker, he lives in Phoenix now, he understands what American football is. He likes to say, Girish, it almost feels like, he's been here since the beginning days, that we were passively liberating data and making it available. Simple access to complex data. And now with Atlas AI agents, with our capabilities, with our application development, it feels we are in a proactive, active problem-solving stance in engagement with the mobile worker till the customer has trust, and then it does autonomously. So for this next section, unlocking the value chain, one of my favorites, I want to invite another customer, Chris Narayanan from NovaChem. Chris is with NovaChem, and as some of you are, a texting relationship between us over the years.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. So, Chris, if you can share, who is NovaChem?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. NovaChemicals is Canada's largest polyethylene producer. We produce polyethylene, recycled polyethylene, and plastomers. We are a company of around 2,600 employees, with an annual sales of around $3.6 billion.
And we've been together, working together, I want to say, about 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5, 3 years now, yeah.
2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
What was the same question I asked for Brett, right? Tell us the world before Cognite. What made you, explain that?
Absolutely. Nova, as any other company in the heavy asset industry is, we are a data-rich company, and we still are. When I started my journey, one of the things we wanted to do was create the data strategy, which is built in cloud, which can scale, which can drive that efficiency within the organization. So prior to Cognite, we were bringing our data from our ERP, from our process information into our cloud, and we were creating those data sets, data model for each of our customers or our employee base for their specific purposes. One of the things that we realized was the semantics or the business context in that data was lacking, and each time we were creating that for every use case. We're just looking at how does this scale? How do we create these data sets for every single ask, and how do we connect them? What is the single source of truth becomes? Is it one data set? Is it n data set? So we're trying to move from a data-rich state to an information-rich state. And that's where kind of we connected with Cognite. And what Cognite was doing in the industrial space of taking data, making it information-rich through your knowledge graph, driving that semantics into the data set, connecting the data set with the business context, and making it useful to every employee within the organization. That was the key for us, and that's why we thought, this would be a fantastic partnership for us moving in, because that aligns with our strategy, not just from a data perspective, from an organization perspective.
And I remember distinctly, it was exactly this week, a year ago, we met, and you had made a commitment. It had been a few months, and I said, let's go. And before Christmas, we were live with you.
Absolutely.
So your mobile workers, your hard hat workers are using it, your operations are using us. What do you see in the world now with a good degree of Cognite that has been deployed?
So till date, we have over 300 plus active users, which is fantastic growth for us to see. When we started, as you rightly pointed out, we started with one single olefins plant in Canada. We wanted to get our hands and foot into it to see, let's just go through the dynamics for one single plant. After that, we really took a different approach. What we decided was we're going to go and target rolling out the platform across all our 10 assets. And in October was the target. We hit that target of deploying Cognite across all the 10 assets. So the platform today has the data of all our 10 assets contextualized with the IT, OT, and business technology information. And we are now rolling out the platform across all our plants. So our plan is by end of this year, have the platform in the hands of the users across all 10 plants. So that's kind of our target.
That's incredible. But what does deploying in plant and beyond the plant look like? And you have a vision, I know well, because I've heard it.
Absolutely. I mean, our journey started with the plant, obviously, because there's a high value potential over there.
Yeah.
But as we looked at what does this mean to the enterprise, we always, we were looking at, okay, what's the next evolution of this? And for us, it was transforming how we operate, how we do things. And the way we operate is always interconnected. So what happens in the plant is interconnected to what happens outside of the plant, from a supply chain, from a material perspective, from a finance standpoint, costing. So our notion was, how do we actually take what we started at the plant and extend it beyond the plant? That would mean taking what Cognite started as the industrial knowledge graph, to taking that into the enterprise knowledge graph era. And that was our end state as well. Our North Star is create that enterprise knowledge graph that can connect our entire business process end to end, that delivers efficiency of how we do work, not just at the plant, but around the plant as well, or beyond the plant.
So beyond the plant as well. And I'll never forget, it was March 23rd, 2023. I was on vacation with my wife and kids in Sevilla. And Paul Grenet and Bill Hendricks said, hey, NovaChem wants to speak to you. I said, sure. I said, what's your prompt? They had very simple prompt. They said, 1, don't screw it up. And 2, just say yes. And I spoke to your supply chain leader, and he says, Girish, you came from supply chain. Why are you restricting your tool only to the plant floor? And that was the first time I had heard that. And that provocation has taken us forward. I'll demonstrate it more. Chris, it's such a joy to work with you. We appreciate you coming down from Calgary.
No,
we'll hang
pleasure.
out over the next couple of days.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So I heard that from NovaChem. I think Samir Purao, the CIO of Celanese, may be here. He's the first one. He said, take it across the enterprise. Aker BP, they'll be up there speaking. Sumitomo, International Paper. We've had so many customers saying, this is working so well on the plant floor. Why don't you take it beyond the plant? And we started contemplating how to do that, what those use cases are. There's a mother of a demo that I'm going to try and show you right now. And my mother's 90. I call her out only when I need her help. So I'm going to demonstrate that now. But we are going beyond the plant. Plant is where value gets created. Plant is where value gets created on a manufacturing floor. We will connect the dots, but our domain is the uncarpeted floor of every manufacturing enterprise. Once you get into those sophisticated soft carpets, there are other very famous companies you can work with. But for the uncarpeted floor, we are working to deploy our capabilities across the board. So now I'll give you a demonstration. Don't have your back towards the audience, Girish. So I'm the head of operations. I have a global view of all my sites. I have to say this thing. This demonstration is actual real life that I lived in 2012. I used to work at Motorola. I had factories reporting into me. We shipped 20,000 devices to Home Depot. I can talk about now. And all the 20,000 devices were choppy in their voice experience. So this is a real, perhaps the biggest crisis moment I have lived in my life, in my working life, that I'm demonstrating here with you. So I'm going to start off with the plant floor is there. I don't know about any crisis. I can go to any site. I think we are in Houston today. I'll go into Houston. I'm in Cognite. It's laying out all the processes in my factory. It's morning, 9:30. I'm trying to look through it. There is capabilities here and polymerization reactor. And while I'm doing that, there is a critical exception detected sign that pops up. And AI agents in the background are working on my knowledge graph as I, the operator, I am sifting around nicely having a cup of coffee. And it says, AI agents have identified a critical quality issue requiring immediate attention. Customer complaint filed for batch contamination with significant revenue impact. All of you are in manufacturing. That is not good news. So we're going to go look at what's going on there. So there are a few events occurring here. As I'm going in to look at that, it tells me customer quality. I left my glasses behind. Customer quality complaint, batch contamination. Catalyst supply constraint, predictive maintenance. So it's giving me a menu of what may be going on there as it has served through it. But I want to remedy this thing, so I'm going to prioritize customer quality complaint because customer is the tip of the spear of what we do. We cannot disrupt a customer operation, but also the revenue impact. So I don't want to get a call from upstairs, so I'm going to take a look at this thing. And now what this is demonstrating, this is pretty cool. Atlas AI agents working on a real knowledge graph. And in the center, the red dot is the batches where the batch problem, the quality issue has been honed down. So what are all these planets going around? The planets are suppliers who are feeding certain componentry into that problem that has been identified by Atlas AI agents surfing, traversing on my knowledge graph with all the sensor, multimodal documentation data. So they have identified that there is a batch that was manufactured, couple levels below the supply chain, that my suppliers are providing. That's a problem area. I don't got time to go figure out, call every supplier. So I will call Atlas AI agents and say, go to work, please, go to work. Run root cause analysis. This is a real application that can go live today in your operations, right? So now the work is going on. They are looking through various further detail to identify how do we remedy this issue? How do we solve this issue? It took me 3 months at Motorola to hone down. We were tinkering around with the voice component and the software. The problem was on a flex plate that was contaminated that came out of Suzhou, China, into the devices. So talk about a needle in a haystack. So now I have, my Atlas AI agents have given me another detail here that gives me the batch, but it also gives me the other customers who are getting impacted by that. And I think I'll go here, look at the supplier data, and I'm going to look for these are the other customers. The beautiful thing, I left my glasses in the back. So these are the batches. These are the customers. So stay with me. There is a quality issue with a component that is impacting that a customer has complained about. We have honed into the causality of that. We have honed into who the suppliers are, but we also have a list of other customers who are impacted by it. Other customers who are impacted by it. You know, across your plethora of systems that are disjointed, what I'm doing here could take days. So now, to do this very difficult task, I'm going to ask Atlas AI to run an execution. And what Atlas AI is doing, the Atlas AI agent is doing, it's looking at, it's galvanizing a crisis response team. It's honing into the supplier. It is sending a product recall notification to all the customers proactively before they find out. Proactively before they find out. It is sequestering the plant, the batch, and starting the whole remedy. So this is another root cause experience that I just showed you. Let me go back to it. This is not a passive system that you can come and do data exploration only. This is a system that is yet again putting a notification in Cognite to have a preventative mechanism there for future similar scenarios. It does not just stop there. The Atlas AI agent goes into the ERP systems and triggers a work order. That is root cause analysis. The world could not have demonstrated that a year ago. This is in production. We'd love to, obviously talk to you about this capability. That was unlocking the value chain. You were the first one to clap. So plant will always be the resolute focus for us. We're going to connect the dots into supply chain and logistics, and we are going to transpose over beyond the plant as we keep growing and responding to your needs. The final value liberator is unlocking the ecosystem. Dead honest, so far in my tenure at Cognite, I have held back talking about the ecosystem because it's a buzzword in tech. I wanted it to be operational. And we stand here on the shoulders of our select partners who we partnered with: Microsoft, AWS, Schlumberger, now known as SLB, Rockwell, Radix. I love Radix, right? So I'm sure I'm missing some names here, but these are partners who have brought us here to the stage, who have brought you all here. And our responsibility for you is to energize the ecosystem that has relevancy to you. We are incredibly privileged to have Michael Hotelling from Exxon, who's going to join us here and share his vision for an ecosystem for the industrial world. Michael.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I think it was one of those where I want to share with you a little bit about a vision of what does an ecosystem really entail. Because I think I like to use a lot of analogies around what I would say is how do we take the best of every company and put it together to where as an asset owner, I quite frankly can use a number of suppliers to achieve incredible things. So let me first give you a little bit around an open asset digital twin, or moving to a more visual way of working. I'm going to describe to you a little bit of detail of what we believe an open asset or an ecosystem actually looks like. I have the pleasure of being a part of a number of consortiums that bring like-minded leaders together on this journey. And I think this is the discussion where we've been having a lot of great work with Cognite in terms of what does the future look like, right? Because it's great to be able to do a specific function or business capability. It's even better when that capability is part of a much larger ecosystem. So let me jump into this a little bit. So this is a little picture around what we look like. What does a digital ecosystem look like? Where on the left side, agnostic capture. This is an area where capturing, particularly in a visual moment around 3D imageries, CAD models, et cetera, where you can store data. I'm going to pause here for a minute because storing data as an asset owner, data is the future oil, right? In terms of capability as an asset owner, that is probably one of my most prized possessions. So being able to maintain the sovereignty of our data to then allow what I would say is a number of partners to add value on top of it. If I move to delivering them autonomously, enriching a lot of those imageries with information to where, as Girish mentioned before, on the connected worker, how do you deliver the right information to the right person at the right time? And I think the argument that we have is that there isn't a single company, I'm sorry if you're thinking in the room, there isn't a single company that we would say that would monopolize this entire chain. This is actually a number of companies working together in an open, agnostic way. And this is where we see the value in terms of growth and capability for our industry and others alike us. So the first thing here is interoperability. And I want to, I get into this debate all the time around, well, Michael, what does actual interoperability mean, right? I have a number of people that will sit there and say, I want to be clear that just because you have an API doesn't mean that it's actually interoperable. Here's the simple discussion. My son asked me to help him prepare a letter. So I went on to Microsoft Word, went there and typed the letter, and I sent it to my son. Now my 21-year-old, he won't use Microsoft, so he will go to Google, and he will basically open up Google Docs. He'll make his modification, send it back to me, and I can still stay in Microsoft Word and still operate it. How many people out here started with Word Perfect? Okay, there's a few of those out there, right? So do you remember the days when you had to go create a document and then the only way you could send that was, what was it, a CSV or, text commas or whatever it was? That doesn't meet the definition of interoperable. Interoperable really is not about picking a standard, but it's about a standard that other people can engage and communicate with. That, to me, is what is the key of us unlocking this ecosystem. We need to be free from what I would say is the custom integration or custom APIs in order to make a single bespoke solution work. I think, in this, when I look at, when I tried to describe the ecosystem, I often, I'm a big fan of carrot cake. If anybody, is a carrot cake lover. And the best part about carrot cake is that it is layers of vegetables, right? With cream cheese next to it, right? So it's like, depending on how many layers of vegetables you want to put in there. But the beauty about this is that they all work together. And when I think of an ecosystem, every layer of vegetable in there is providing a functional excellence, or I would say is a capability that they pursue and they drive. And there are many other companies along those. To me, the whole part about that, of course, is I have the abilities, I can eat the entire piece of cake, right? Because they all work together. This is when I describe an ecosystem, really what I'm after. I'm trying to make sure that we have ample opportunity for both asset owners and suppliers to work together to drive value. And I think, as mentioned, a lot of the theme here, this will absolutely be underpinned by AI, right? This is not an area where, quite frankly, I was in a meeting yesterday and we were having a whole discussion, and it was like, they were telling me about a new company and it was like dot something AI. And I'm like, oh, here we are to the .com, bubble again, right? Just because you can use the letters AI doesn't actually mean that you're driving that type of capability. What is the critical underlying component that makes AI work? One of them is actually data. Semantic layer of data to drive a capability is an area where a number of AI solutions they actually need in order to provide value. As an asset owner, if I truly want to be an area where I have multiple agents that are deployed for specific activities from multiple companies on different platforms, the best way for us to do that is on open, interoperable data that, quite frankly, people can come in and bring what I would say is the high-value assets or capability back to an asset owner. Now, am I alone in this vision? I would say that I also participate, I sponsor a group through ARC Advisory, the Open Asset Digital Twin Working Group, that there are about 20 plus majors in the oil and non-oil. A lot of the big names, Shell, Chevron, BP, Dow, BASF, Marathon, Aramco, I can go on, all coming together with this same vision. And the key here is we want to breed an ecosystem that drives competition and value without us having a huge technical debt with a single supplier or a single platform. This is the area where I look forward in terms of those capabilities. Now, having asset owners and suppliers and making sure that, quite frankly, we want companies like Cognite to continue to grow in terms of capabilities and expertise, but we want to allow others that have specialized capability to do the same. And that is all going to be on that same data set, which is why we believe, having what I would say is semantic data that is available for all is critical for what I would say is growing ecosystem. Think of it, right? I mean, you can, pull up any software, link, or what I say from an interoperability. I didn't say the word custom integration or custom API, but it was one of those where I can point it to a data set and then provide capability. This is what we are after in terms of growing. This is similar to building on top of open process automation, where frankly, it's based on open standards, open and secure in terms of protecting your data. And the key principle here is separating what I would say is hardware from software, and more importantly, software from data. Data is the future in terms of being able to interop and provide value. And that is an area where a number of people need to make sure that, look, you're going to reuse that data for multiple purposes, multiple activities. It's not within one silo or bespoke. And this is an area where I would say I'm excited in terms of the growth, in terms of capability, that we're having discussions with Cognite in terms of here's what we do today, and what does the future look like, right, in the next 3 to 5 years? Because I think from our standpoint, and speaking from the energy industry, our job, quite frankly, is not only just protecting what I would say is our environment and our people, but the energy transition is coming. Our job is to go figure out how we're going to do it for a fraction of the cost. And the way we're going to do that is through an ecosystem of suppliers, agentic deployment capability, where frankly, things that used to take weeks, years, or months to do are done in minutes and seconds. And when we take that and then challenge the way we actually do work, we are going to find that we're able to help promote the energy transition for a fraction of the cost. And that, to me, is part of what I say is the future. And this is where I would say, like, this transformation starts now. It starts with this room and everybody involved in it. And what I welcome is for you to be a part of that journey.
Michael, thank you. So, I'll remember you not just for Work Perfect and Carrot Cake, but more importantly, what you shared with me backstage. So what Michael said is, Girish, I'm speaking to 6 other companies in the industrial software space about my vision. And we welcomed that, Michael. I think I mentioned to you about 6 months ago, I reached out to every CEO of every industrial software company. I said, come on over. Come on over, attend our event, and 1 or 2 asked, but these are your customers. Are you okay if we speak to them? I said, of course. So my message to you, Michael, and to other customers is, when we make landfall in your plant, you already have existing systems, many, if not all, legacy over the last 20 years. And we have to correlate, we have to integrate, we have to pull data for everything I just showed you. So we have this very benevolent view that we have to survive in an operating ecosystem. So please spread the word. We want this forum to be like RSS Security, where it's a gathering of industrial software people. If we get a sponsorship or 2 along the way, we'll take it. Thank you so much.
I love it.
I appreciate it, Michael. It was great vision. Thanks. So, some incredible announcements that we've been doing, rolling thunder this morning. We announced this morning that we are partnering with Databricks. And it's a zero-copy partnership that we have announced this morning. Andy Kofoid and myself, we've made that announcement, the president of Databricks. It's a strategic partnership where Cognite does not have to copy data from Databricks onto Cognite. We can drive our computations with data sitting in Databricks, and we'll have integration. Databricks can do their incredible work that they do in their horizontal platform with data sitting in Cognite. And that is the start of the partnership. We're incredibly proud. I know there are folks here from Databricks. We'd love to say hello. We'll look forward to working, collaborating to deliver value to our customers. The second one I am really excited about announcing this morning is we announced a partnership with NVIDIA. Cognite and NVIDIA have been working quietly over the last few months. It started in a plane ride for Geir Ingdahl, our co-founder. So let me try and explain to you what we are doing with this chip semiconductor AI GPU provider. They have a foundation model called Tesseract. So what is a foundation model? Think of a foundation model as a large language model, only difference being this is not a language model. It is a data, it is a time series model but it lacks industrial data. More importantly, it lacks contextualized industrial data. So as they discovered us, we came together where the largest capability in the world on the cloud of contextualized time series data that sits on Cognite can be leveraged by that foundation model Tesseract with permissions from customers to drive predictive outcomes, forecasting which compressor, which pump will fail. So that predictive capability via Tesseract, the foundation model, energized by Cognite's contextualized time series data with Atlas AI at work, is the beginning of this partnership. I am not going to miss Geir Ingdal's session tomorrow, and you're going to demonstrate this thing. You're going to show it. So you're going to talk about it further. So he'll share this capability. The announcement today quotes Samir Parao from Celanese, the CIO, and this data, this experience is operational today as we are working with Celanese. So we are incredibly excited about these two partnerships. This morning we also announced a partnership with Snowflake of a similar zero-copy capability that I just mentioned. So we are rolling thunder. We are starting to build out, fortify our capabilities, and build out an ecosystem that is available to you, because when Databricks and Cognite work together, your computation costs are lower, your value is higher. So the summation here is your value via unlocking the workforce, unlocking the value chain going beyond the plant, unlocking the ecosystem is not just talk this morning, it is operational, it's in our roadmap, and amalgamated this together will generate incredible financial value for your operations. The final 5-yard line. I have a couple more things to share with you. We have a saying in Cognite that says, make no little plans. This is something that's dear to me. I have colleagues from the past who've given me shirts that say, make no little plans. You see, my 2 boys were born in Chicago. Our family was raised in Chicago. My wife and I raised our kids in Chicago. One of them works there in Chicago today. And there's a story that goes back to 1893. The city of Chicago won what used to be the Olympics at that time, called the World Exposition. If in those times you won the World Exposition, it was bigger than winning the Olympics today. So when Chicago won the World Exposition, was awarded the World Exposition, New York was expecting to win it, San Francisco was expecting to win it, and they mocked Chicago, the meatpacking district of the world, the hog town. What are they going to do in the World Exposition? They're going to embarrass America. With great empathy, French empathy, compassion, Monsieur Eiffel wrote to Daniel Burnham, the general manager, the architect of the World Exposition, and said, I know the problem you have. Where are you going to find something like the Eiffel Tower that we stood up in 1887 at the World Exposition in Paris? So I'm going to give you the exact design of the Eiffel Tower. In Chicago, you can have the Eiffel Tower 1 foot taller. And then you can go around telling the world, I have the longest, tallest Eiffel Tower. And that was discussed, should we go for that, by the committee in Chicago, the meatpacking district of the world. Daniel Burnham, who was an architect, walked to the window, turned around and says, we shall make no little plans. We shall make no little plans because it does not stir a man's blood. And that make no little plans became a rallying cry in Chicago to stand up a city by Lake Michigan. I have read make no little plans references in Bangkok, in Singapore, in Washington, D.C. As urban planners have come in different parts of the world, they have taken Daniel Burnham's quote of make no little plans. Now, how do we industrialize it? When we have a problem, we have an opportunity, we say, go at it full, make no little plans. So at Cognite, as we are building this incredible dream called Cognite, we are making no little plans, and we are announcing our moonshot today. Our moonshot today is $100 billion in customer value delivered by 2035. $100 billion of customer value delivered by 2035. This is not just a motto. This is not just a rallying cry. This is our epic. This is our meta leading indicator that we will run the company with, because we don't wake up in the morning and we say, this much we want for revenue, this much we want in profit, this much we want in gross margin. We start off by saying how much value are we delivering through the 3 scenarios that I just provided, and we will be capturing it with great modesty. I'll tell you, we are shy of $1 billion today, but this requires a collaboration between us. There are customers in the audience here and beyond who have come into the den, into the engine room with us, worked with us on capturing value. We need that collaboration to work on this. At this stage, let me bring Mark Jeffries back. I thank all of you for coming here to Impact and listening to me over the last hour.
Outstanding, Girish. Thank you so much. Girish, we're very short on time. So first of all, that moonshot, amazing. Yesterday, SpaceX launched their Starship. Today, you launched the moonshot. We're in the right area. I like that. But one thing that really came out as I was listening to your words was the importance of these relationships, these connections, these partnerships. Why is the ecosystem so critical for Cognite? Why is it so critical for these fine people?
For 2 reasons. The install base that's paid off in factories, customers are not going to rip it out overnight. We got to work with that. And the second reason is, in the world of AI, the developments that are taking place that we can thread together contributes to the $100 billion in value.
Outstanding. And you know what? We work hard putting this event on. Your team are amazing, having organized all of this, such a big crowd. What do you, as CEO, hope our audience will take away with them when they leave at the end of a couple of days?
That's a great question, Mark. When we conceived this idea, we wanted customers to talk to customers, for them to network, understand use cases, understand their hurdles, and yet again, how to generate more value.
Very nice. Girish, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I
Girish
appreciate it.
Rishi.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.